Do you have a snarky teenager at home and you're ready to pull your hair out? Well, today I'm going to talk a little bit about how those early teenage years are like a second toddlerhood. I'm Tiffany Bakke of The Self-Motivated Child. And today we're going to talk about how those early teenage years are like another toddlerhood. I currently have a 13-year-old, and so this is something that I'm experiencing right now in my life, and it's something I have to keep reminding myself of, that there are different phases with different ages. And I have to step back and remind myself as an educator that this is normal. This is normal, typical development of what my child is going through. And then reflect as a parent, I don't need to get so upset. I just know that this is a phase. The first similarity that I want to talk about is the desire for independence. Your 2-year-old toddler is going to have that desire to pull away from you and want to do things on their own. Teach me to do it myself. They're now they're a lot more mobile now. They're walking, they're running, they're wanting to get into everything. So for your 2-year-old, they're wanting to be able to be a little bit more independent of helping around the house and getting themselves dressed and being able to do those little things for themselves. Well, as a early teenager, that desire for independence has to do with social. They want to be able to be more independent, to interact more with their peers. They're starting to pull away from you, their family, their parents, because they're trying to identify with their peers who they are, what their culture is, and their time and place. And so just understanding that maybe helps the situation a little bit. So when you're experiencing this, step back and think, what are some freedoms that I can give? With your toddler, it may be giving them many lessons around the house for them to be independent. With your teenager, it's renegotiating some of those social activities. Maybe that you're planning activities where they can get together with friends, or that you allow a certain amount of time that they get on the computer to chat in the afternoon. But giving those opportunities to them that you're willing to have happen, that they're not pushing the boundaries, but you've set the boundaries and you've talked about it with them. The second thing is tantrums. Your 2-year-old is starting to be a lot more mobile, and they're also starting to have an explosion of language, but they don't often have the words to explain how they're feeling, and they don't understand that feeling yet to be able to explain that to you, so tantrums happen. Well, with your teenager, you're in this period of puberty where their body is changing, where their thoughts and ideas are changing, and they are starting to shed a little bit of that childhood innocence or that young child skin, and they're starting to explore what it is to be an adult, and they don't fully know what that looks like yet. So tantrums happen with them as well. And in these two situations, sometimes it's they're hungry, sometimes it's they're tired, sometimes they need a hug or they need understanding. So if you provide the support of consistent boundaries, that your child knows what to expect, and you have that relationship with them that you can identify, they're tired, they need to go to the room for some quiet time, some peace away from others until they recenter, or they're hungry, so I better have some food available so that when they get home from school they can munch or eat, or have a consistent routine of when you always eat dinner before those tantrums happen. So that consistency and that support. And also with tantrums, it takes a lot of patience. You as a parent can get really revved up yourself, but if you just step back and have a little bit of patience with them as they're working through this, that really helps to dissipate the situation as well. And then the last thing I want to talk about is pushing boundaries. Again, your toddler is wanting to do things on their own, so they're going to push to see what is acceptable and what's not. And it's the same with your teenager. They want to see what you will allow when they're acting more childlike or when they're acting more adult-like. And they're just trying to find out what's okay, what's not okay, what are your boundaries, and that you're going to provide that support that when they fail or when they have a hard time and when they struggle, that you are still there, loving, patient, understanding, and helping them work through it. So, if you have a teenager that's going through the second toddlerhood, take a deep breath, allow them to have a space to recenter themselves, and just know that this is a phase and that you will survive just like you did when your child was a toddler.
If you like what you have seen so far, be sure to subscribe to my channel. In the meantime, follow me on Facebook at Tiffany Bakke.